Good evening and welcome to EvilGinger Miniatures, where I'm going to be having a bit of a chat, and I'm going to be doing a bit more on these, which I'm sure you've seen before at various stages, either here or on Facebook, where I also do live streams more regularly. This should be the last live stream in which I don't have a head camera, so you can't see what I'm doing off the side, and hopefully I'll get some streaming software set up so I can swap between the cameras so you can see me talking, and then you can go and see me go offside and do some work. Potentially I might also be working at one of the workbench ends and just recording stuff on a head camera, but that's the plan for next week. Like all plans, it is subject to change and contact reality may change it, but I'm after a head camera to sit on my forehead so that I can look down and I can paint stuff, and you'll see more or less what I see as I'm daubing paint on things. Now these are grubbed out ruins. They're made of milliput bricks on MDF floors. The stones are pieces of card, all painted, base coat being the Fanatic primer, brush on primer, which I don't like as a primer because it doesn't stick that well to metal. It doesn't stick to the sharper, crisper detail, and that means you have to put it on quite thick, which rather defeats the object of a primer, which is to stick paint to the model with the thinnest possible coat. To do that, I've gone round and I've hardened all the foam with glue, so it'll survive. It's good and robust. I drop these on a regular basis while working on them. So the next stage is to put some static grass. Now, after thinking about it last time, where I did two colours at the same time, and these are two colours I'm going to be using, light green and a mid green. I'm going to do one or the other, so I'm going to do this one first. Might come on Facebook and finish them off when they're dry to do the other. There's various amounts of dry brushing done. I picked up bits of grit as and there's some variation in the earth colour. I've got two more bases to do of these because I found them while I was tidying up, and then we'll be moving on to Far East scenery, and then on to more time versions of this, the difference of which I will explain as I do them, because there's more time ones are similar but not identical, and I will probably be building some tops on the buildings. So light green, static grass, mixture of all sorts of people's static grasses, and the reason I'm doing it one colour at a time is to keep them separate, because I was discovering that when I was tapping them off, because you get a lot of loose grass doing this, you ended up with the mixing, which, if you want the two different colours to be distinct, is a bit of a problem. But usual trick, and leaving enough colour. This isn't accurate or meant to look realistic, it's meant to look stylized, but it'll fit in with my other terrain and with the other bits that you've probably seen finished in various places. You just push it in, don't worry about making it stick up, and then you just stick it to one side for a couple of hours while it dries. So what you're trying to do is to get something that vaguely resembles a three colour camouflage pattern. So you've got clear earth, light and dark green. Now we'll be putting some tufts on these as well, but I will do that as a sort of a last stage. Mostly because I need to order some more tufts, as I've used up all the odds and sods that I was using for the other ones. And again, it's all piled up, but you can tap it all off when it's dry and sort that out quite nicely and easily. In reality, these would be a lot more overgrown and you'd see less soil, but in the same way that I did my fields like this, they'll get to fit together. As this particular version of white glue tends to dry a bit glossy, and I got it on the walls when I was using it to harden off the grass, harden off the bushes, I had to matte varnish them, and I did that earlier this afternoon. But the Fanatic matte varnish, and its predecessor, dry quite nice, and some of these may need this colour done into more bits, but again, I'm doing the same thing. Just building up a pattern of a stylized pattern of multicolours. The walls are very low, so they don't really add cover, but they're there for the look of the thing and to realistically be more of a movement obstacle than and just to represent that the whole area could be designated quite as difficult terrain. Of course, if I was using, say, 20 or 15 more figures, some bits of this will be better cover because the stones are bigger proportionately. And for 40 more figures, they're just sort of not quite lumps and bumps in the grass. Other things to mention is that my usual D&D game is on tomorrow night, and I shall be attending the lovely Books and Banter, which is now reopened to the general public. So if you're in Burton, I suggest you go down and help yourself to a coffee. And the snack food is good as well. I'll also be there on Friday night. Original plan was to be with my other D&D group where I play, but they're all crying off at the moment, so I might just go down there for a coffee just because I can, and to meet who I meet, because I'm in the mood for being social. And if the miserable so-and-sos can't get themselves organised or working or whatever else, or in one case, scabbed themselves, unfortunately. Who said that bit of jogger syndrome, going and trying to get fit when you're my sort of age, sort of thing. But I'll be down there having a coffee, probably early in the evening. I'm also after players for my Saturday game, which should be starting this week. Though there might be a small drama on that one because I don't have a printer that talks to a computer at the moment, because it's convinced itself that it's got the wrong cartridge in it. And I'm going to have to find someone who can print some things off because I can't find my photocopy masters. So staggering into town to find a copy shop isn't an option. But I've got till Saturday to find those, and there's a distinct possibility that they're just concealed in one of the many piles of stuff that I've got all over the place from the whole attempts at tidying up, which goes on a pace. The office will be set up as soon as I have got organised the desktop, and I'll be doing a lot of my recording and editing there, though I'll still be doing this sort of thing downstairs in the workshop, and probably trying to organise it so that it's coherent and there's less umming and ahhing and stuff. These are what I'm doing now are very much practice for trying to do stuff, because again, it's another skill I didn't actually have. I mean, public speaking because of the role playing and various other things, but performing on camera? Oh, there was the man that painted the scenery. One of the ones that painted the scenery. Because I have a horrendous trouble learning lines. I can improv, but I struggle with learning lines. I suspect my dyslexia is not entirely not to do with that, and the weird way I actually read. But again, there's another almost ready to go, and we'll just let that dry. And when that's dry, we'll finish it off. In fact, I may very well come on here on one of my strange looking spec streams and just do it in the small hours of the morning, just so there's a record. We're almost down to the last bit now. Apart from the two that I intend to build, but they're going to wait a little bit. Mostly because I want to do some Far East scenery, and the plan will be to do the Far East scenery as the first head camera thing, which I'll either stream or record and use as a practice piece for editing. So glue just in a random pattern across. So it was a camo pattern, and then one of the large swathy aeroplane type camo patterns where you're trying to break up a large object into chunky bits, but you don't want to cover it all because you want as much visual interest as possible, and that includes having little bits of stone and bare earth and the other colour which you've got to leave room for as you're doing it. And I think, of course, you don't want it on the building, on the stone, because this static grass will stick there just as well. And again, covering it up with static grass, while it would look more like real life. Right, I haven't got a water pot within range, so we're going to have to do it that way. Fortunately, it's not poisonous, it just takes rank. But I've already knackered this brush thoroughly. I would like it still to be usable as a brush to some extent, even if it's only for dusting and for applying glue and basing material. The plan will be to use these in demo games at Books and Banter, and the game I have in mind the games I have in mind demoing are Open Combat, which is a game I really like, but I haven't had out to play. Very flexible dark age, medieval, pre-gunpowder stroke fantasy game. I'm also going to have Rangers of Shadow Deep out, and 5 Leagues from the Border, which these will all fit in. They're also going in as the Ruins of Old Caranathon in my proposed Dunland versus Rohan games, which I might film at Books and Banter if I can get a camera that I can film with. At the moment, this is my camera, other than the one on a laptop, and this one, whilst it does take film, is a sod to get off. And I think the people who repair cameras in Burton have ceased trading as a shop. So I've got to contact them and get my other camera, which was in for repair because it died at Other Partisan. Not sure whether I'm going to charge at Partisan. I'm not sure whether I'm going to Other Partisan this year. I would like to, but it's going to be a question of time and money and organising some transport, because I can get to Newark under my own steam, but getting from the centre of Newark to the showground, which is in the middle of nowhere on the outside of Newark, isn't terribly easy, especially on a Sunday, because in that part of the world they don't believe in public transport on a Sunday, and you don't get it. And then getting back, and it will be a very, very long all-day job, because it's a slow train to Newark, and then it's a slow train back from Newark, and I've spent far too much time on a coal platform at Newark because they haven't got any buildings there you can take cover in, so you're a bit subject to whatever the British weather throws at you. So it would be nice to go with someone, also company, also we can go and have a pint afterwards, or we can go into Books and Banter like we did, into the new Books and Banter, same like we did the last one after What's It, and I can buy a pint for people and we can have a bit of fun. But if anybody wants, also, if I do go there, I want to be doing more demo games, because last time I just went over and bought stuff, which was a mission and very business focused, but it wasn't having any fun. And being part of the demos and joining in, because there are always good demos at Partisan, would be part of it, especially if it's potentially my one more gaming outing of the year, having missed one of my few war gamings out of the year. I mean, I'll try and get over to Bosworth and make it this year. Didn't make it last year. Painted loads of the models that were over there. Would like to actually play with them. Also, there's a fantasy version of Bill Hooks out, which, again, I would like to be running a little game of. And you might see headcam Simon teaching himself how to play that game, because I am not the world's expert at Bill Hooks, and because it's in 2 books, the fantasy supplement is separate from the main rules, but you need both to play. It might help if I had a few games down here just to work out how things work. Probably orcs versus dwarves or something like that, or orcs versus, good humans. So that's all the terrainy stuff done, well, as far as it can go. It'll be another couple of hours before it's suitable for me to dust it off, and I might even leave it till tomorrow. It's been a strange day, and I have been smitten with an overwhelming urge just to be asleep. I'm hoping I'm not going down with some sort of cold, because this is the prelude to me being ill, generally, is that I want to sleep until it goes away. And then I get symptoms for a little bit, and then come back to and get well. So what else have we got on? Well, the KNLI thing is still out there, and we're waiting on May 40 Miniatures to do that. The Frostgrave demo scenery is building up. One of the big builds I've got to do is the fact that I've got a large enough quantity of Fenris scenery staring at me over the top of the computer in various trays, some of which I've started on, and I probably showed in another episode, and I might again show next week. But there's a load of bits of extra stuff that I've been accumulating. And then, of course, there is still a crowdfunder for Books and Banter. You've got 10 days, so it closes on the 20th. So it would have appreciated if you haven't, you drop a few more quid in that direction. I shall definitely be. I've done every time I've been paid, and I've got quite a bit of commission work on. Upcoming is the finish of the 40k commission, the Chaos Space Marine commission, which is over on the main workbench, slowly being varnished or drying, having been varnished. The only thing I haven't done to the state of being finished is the Heldrake, because I'm waiting for a handle to hold it properly with, so I can finish painting it. But everything else is arguably done, apart from a bit of basing and various stages of varnishing. As with everything I do, they're going to be gloss varnished first, and then they're going to be matte varnished over the top. That way, it's the hardest wearing, and they're going to be played with. So there seems to be, that's the best way to have stuff survive. I'm sorry, I've got a hell of an itchy nose for some apparent reason, which is another thing that leads me to believe I might be going down with some cold. Again, not very photogenic, me scratching my nose, but it is really annoying the living daylights out of me. Excuse me. I've also got some D&D characters to generate and get printed. But again, printer issues. Again, that was going to be something I was going to sort this month, but it may have to wait. Depends how much the head camera costs, because I think being able to do things for, that I can show people is probably more to the point than printing a few character sheets, where for what is basically still a hobby, even though I do paid GMing from time to time. And if you want me to do a paid GM, please PM me. I will organise something. Mostly I do D&D style games, though I have experience doing LARPy type things, usually vampire type LARPs where you're in a closed environment. Could run to various murder things, but they tend to need a lot more planning. And as there is only me, keeping things sensible on the planning side is always an issue. Sorry, my nose is itching like a bugger today. You may notice I'm wearing the decent glasses, so you can possibly see me a bit better, rather than the ones that I need replacing, which are the ones I've been using for work for years. So I'm probably going to be winding it up reasonably shortly, mostly because I really, really do need to sort this nose out. And I also need potentially to go to sleep because I'm feeling flaming tired as I talk to you. And I'm fighting the urge to yawn, because you don't want to see me yawn on the camera. You really don't. Anyway, that's probably me for now. Hope you have a good week, and I'll speak to you later, and almost certainly be showing off stage 2 of the bases. And actually thinking about it, I'll do that tomorrow on YouTube, on here, and I'll do some photographs of them when I tomorrow for Work in Progress Wednesday, which is always a big thing for me, where I show pictures of everything I'm in process. One other thing that's upcoming is that I'm going to be doing an update on the old Etsy shop, so expect a load more Stargrave figures to go up. They are in the varnish in great sticky mess over on the table over there, and I'll be showing off some 3D printed stuff which I've not printed, but I have on a commission basis, and I'm more impressed with these 3D prints than I have been with earlier ones. They are still FDM prints, but they are getting crisper than they were. I suspect wherever they came from had a better printing than the previous one, which were a bit rough. Anyway, you've had to put up with me for 25 minutes, scratching my nose and generally moaning about things, but stuff is making progress and things are getting done, and I'll speak to you all next week, if not before. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.